Alright guys, a couple years ago I made a video on running the emergency heat for the first time of the year. As you see, we have a different thermostat compared to what we had years ago. Apparently the old thermostat was bad. It's causing the H-VAC fan to shut off when it shouldn't. But I'm not a fan of this thermostat. I mean, it's alright, but it has no fan timer on it after, like, let's say the AC shuts off. Has no fan timer on it where it runs an additional. Well, it depends. Also, also when the AC shuts off, the HVAC fan shuts off as well right away, and I don't like when it does that. So this is a used thermostat, so it's no surprise. I mean, I tried to clean the contacts, the mode switch with the oxide, but that did no change. Also, it runs right away. There's no delay on it. Once you put it on a mode, it runs right away. It doesn't have a short delay like the old thermostat did. So what we're going to do, let's put that to 70 for now. It claims it's 73 currently. Room temperature says 73. There's the train in the background. Hold on. Now, before you run the emergency heat, you want to make sure you open up as many windows as possible. So there's open, that's opened. There's no window in the hallway bathroom. Dining room, windows open, kitchen windows open. The left side's not going to be able to open because the crank handle's broken on it, been broken for years. Right side of that's open as well, but I'm not going to bother with the left side because there's just too much junk in the way. Back sliding door, windows open, as well as the front screen window. You have to excuse the scratching noises. That's one of the dogs out there. Office window, one of them is open. I'm not going to bother with the left side because, again, there's just too much junk in the way. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Anyways, I think we're going to put it on emergency heat. I don't think it should run right away. So, hey, we even got an emergency heat light for once. The old thermostat didn't even have it. Let me actually turn this flash off so you can see it. Also, so it has an auxiliary light, check light, and emergency light. That's one thing I like about this thermostat. It has an emergency heat light. Now, you don't want to run it too long. You really want to run it between maybe 5 to 10 minutes. You don't want to run it too long because it will run your power bill up. The only reason why you should have it on emergency heat, if it were too cold outside for the regular heat, like say if it were in the freezing point, for example, then you would switch it to emergency heat. Heat pump units. This is a heat pump unit. I forgot to mention that. So, otherwise it wouldn't have the emergency heat option. So, I'll try, if I go back to the archives, I'll try to put in a clip compared to this current video, because we also cleaned the blower earlier this year. So, anyways, here we go. It's going to run right away, so when Alright, here we go. Put it to 76. There's the aux light coming on. And I didn't hear the condenser start up outside, so that's a good sign. Let's see if we got some dust burning smell. You bet. Ooh, that's strong. Just run it for a couple minutes, let it burn all that dust out. I went ahead and took the battery out the smoke alarm because I didn't want it going off. Oops, see, it dropped the 72. Oh yeah. This is why you want to open up most of the windows as much as possible. Burn all that dust out. But we did clean the blower, like I said. I'll try to add in a clip if I remember. But I doubt it. I'll just most likely put the links in the description. As long as it doesn't, the HVAC breaker doesn't trip, that's all that matters. So yeah. Oh. Okay, we'll just leave it. We'll just leave that alone, I guess. Yeah, so then once you shut it off, you want to wait a couple more minutes, let it air out. The room temperature hasn't even climbed up yet. Temperatures right now are at like lower 50s outside. I meant to mention that at the beginning of this video. So let's actually check the HVAC. I guess I'll show that while I'm at it. That's the HVAC next to the water heater. I'll try to zoom in on the specs. The pantry's a mess right now, so I don't feel like. Let's see if I can zoom in enough. There we go. I think this unit's from like the 80s. It's from like the 80s or 90s. But it's definitely pulling a lot more air than what it did after cleaning the blower. So that's that. So obviously it's got two filters, one right there because it's the way it's set up, and one right here. So we'll let it run for a couple more minutes. Like I said, you don't want to run it too long because it's going to run the power bill up. So and I'm going to be curious if the HVAC fan shuts off right away when I turn it off or not. So we'll let it run for, let it run for a couple more minutes and call it good enough. Yeah, this vent's like the strongest of all. It's got strong air of the rest of the house because it's, you know, closer to the HVAC. So yeah. Definitely some strong heat coming out. I wish I had one of those thermometers that points at a laser to measure with the temperature, but I don't have that kind. So yeah, it's pretty much what a heat pump unit is. I mean, you can look it up on Google for more information. I'm not really good at explaining stuff like that. It is also set to 1 degree differential, as you can tell. But the second stage, although this is not a second stage unit, it is set to 2 degree differential. Alright, most of the odor's cleared out. I think I'm going to go ahead and call it good enough. We'll go ahead and shut it down. So, I don't want to turn the thermostat. I don't want to move it to heat because the condenser's going to try to run. Because that's what heat pumps do. Aux light is still lit. That's a good sign. We'll turn the... See, it made that you heard that click noise. That's because it went from second stage to first stage, which, like I said, I'm just not a fan of this thermostat. Now, the question is, will the HVAC fan shut off right away, or will it continue running for an additional 30 seconds like it should? Let's see what happens. Shuts off right away. I don't like when it does that. It's usually supposed to run an additional 30 seconds. But it's not. Something's just not right. I mean, it's hit and miss. Sometimes it'll work and sometimes it won't. So I don't know if we got an electrical issue going on or what. But that HVAC fan shutting off right away does not. Let me just run the fan for a little bit. Yeah, just run the fan for a couple minutes, let it cool down, and I'll put it back to auto. So, it is what it is. I just wish it would run an additional half minute when the whole unit shuts off. So, I guess we can move it to the position back to off while we're at it. Let's just... Now, there's another thing, like when you go to switch it between cool and off, it wants to try to run. So, let's see what happens here. Ooh. I don't know if the microphone picked it up, but the condenser... the condenser makes a switch noise when you switch it between cool and heat. I heard that all the way from over here. I don't know if the microphone picked it up. Probably not. So yeah, it's all ready to go. Usually you want to run this maybe right before or maybe during the heating season, just to make sure everything is working fine. Making sure the emergency heat is working fine in case of, you really have to run emergency heat. So let the fan run a couple more for about another minute or two. Let it cool down. And we'll shut it back to, or put it back to auto. I'll let it air out a couple more minutes and then just close up all the windows. So, yeah. Alright, I think we'll call it good enough. We'll put it back to auto. Again, I don't like when it shuts off like that right away, but it is what it is with this used thermostat. Okay. So, and I'm gonna turn, even though it's off, I'm gonna turn the thermostat back up just in case if we ever need to put the AC back on, which most likely we will have to do when we're cooking Thanksgiving in a couple weeks. So, and Christmas too. Depends on how warm it is. So, yeah. Alright, just for bonus purposes, I'll run the bathroom heater for a little bit. Let it burn all the dust out. Get it ready for the winter in case, if anyone decides to run the bathroom heater this winter. So, it's an old school unit. Surprisingly, both the ventilation and the heater still work. Ventilation I need to clean up a little bit, but other than that, it works just as good. Motors haven't blown up yet, or seized like the old one in my bathroom. Let's see what happens. I'm going to get out the way right away because it's probably going to be blowing a bunch of insulation from the attic. Because that's what happens when you use blown-in insulation. Anyways, see what happens. Yep. already smell dust. That's why I'm trying to stay in the way. It's blowing out a bunch of dust and whatnot. Surprisingly, it's not blowing out that much. Well, I'm not a fan of the blown-in insulation. Well, look out. But it is blowing out some strong heat to this day. It does need it does need some cleaning though, as you can tell. We'll let that run for a few minutes. Oh, more insulation. Which is why you want to run it, have all these windows open. That way, if anyone accidentally turns it on, it won't be insulation flying out. But it's not blowing out. It's not as bad as it was the past couple of years. Alright, I think we'll call that good enough, so we'll just turn that off. We'll call that good enough, let it cool down. And we'll run the one in my bathroom next. Now this is a brand new unit in my bathroom because what happened, the same old unit I should say, heater motor blew up in it a couple of years ago and the ventilation motor seized this past winter. So anyways, we'll run the heat. Heat's on that side. I know you can't see it that well. Heat's on that side. Ventilation's on that side. So we'll run the heater. See what happens. A little bit of vibration noise. I don't know if the microphone's going to pick it up, but it's got a vibration to it. Otherwise, it's not that bad. Alright, I think I called that good enough. Like I said, this is a brand new unit. I don't want to risk the heater motor blowing up in this. Because, you know, they don't build nothing that'll last these days. So we'll call that good enough. So, yeah. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and end off the video here. Thank y'all so much for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe. Drop a comment down below. Let me know what you think. And we will see y'all on the next video. Peace.